Please rise for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. I'd like to have a moment of silence for Marla Cole. Marla was a 20-year employee here at the city who passed away on March 12th. And also Roger Gillette, who passed away on St. Patrick's Day. Roger was a volunteer firefighter in the past. He also served on the Beautification Commission, and he served on the Planning Commission. Yeah, so if we could please have a moment of silence for both. Thank you. Our condolences and prayers go out to the families. Roll call, please.
Bunton?
Here.
Campbell? Here. Dempsey?
Here.
Hill?
Here.
Crop? Here. Menser?
Here. Okay. Announcements, acknowledgements, communications, and reports. Do we have any from any member? Seeing none. Okay. Adoption of the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Bunton?
Yes.
Campbell?
Yes.
Dempsey?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Crop?
Yes.
Menser?
Yes.
Okay, public participation. This is the time you may address this body. All we ask is your name and residential address and that you adhere to our 3-minute rule. So the mic is open.
Laura Fournier, 70 Lodwick Street. I would like an update on the sidewalk issue. Now, if the weather's getting nice, I'm sure we can get going on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Gloria Haller, 260 Cass. I'm coming up with no papers, so that's usually a little more fun than usual. I'm going to entangle some confusion about my running in the last election as a write-in. I did not do it to back the present mayor. As anybody knows, the mayor and I and her husband have had great differences regarding zoning, her appointing him on the planning commission, because I call it nepotism, even if Mount Clemens has its own dictionary and definitions. And certainly, it would be way past hypocritical if I came out, oh, I'm backing the mayor. What I was doing was even more important. I was blocking the county. We don't need the county doing to the city what it's doing to the schools. And if the mayoral seat was assumed by someone who not only is a county employee, but whom Fred Miller did all the campaign literature for, that'd be a scary thing. Now, first I have a couple questions that probably have to be addressed by the city attorney. Is there an age, or maybe the mayor can answer, is there an age requirement, young to old, for being on the city commission? Like, do you have to be a certain age?
I would defer to the attorney on that one.
Off the top of my head, I don't believe the charter has it. The charter provision, I believe the requirement is that you must have been a resident of the city for 18 months or
1
2
year.
years.
1 year.
Okay, so I guess it's
Something
okay
like
that you have a 5-year-old on the commission.
I don't know. don't have the charter in front of me.
Well,
I'd have to take a
according to
look at
campaign
it.
literature,
Yeah.
for Commissioner Menser, she's a lifelong resident. And if you check house records, water records, voter records, she's been in Mount Clemens since 2011. Count with me here. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. She's only been here 5 years. Lifelong resident. I mean, she's 5 years old. Thought I'd ask if she was qualified to be a commissioner. Okay. The next one, is there a roll call for the, if the mayor could ask the city attorney, is there an order for commissioner comments to be called in, like the rotation order? Is the mayor always last? Does the mayor have to be last? And I have a reason for asking this. Can the mayor go first?
I think the mayor can. I have at times gone first.
Well, I'd suggest you start doing that. There's something we can agree on. Because if you don't, Commissioner Menser is just going to keep jumping your claim, doing the public service announcements, doing all the things that if she was really a long-term city resident and commission viewer, she'd be aware that there's certain things the mayor does cover in her commissioner comments. And the mayor needs to be able to do that, and I guess the only way she's going to be able to do it is if she goes first. So with all due respect to everybody else, could you please start going first?
Thank you. Anyone else?
Dolores Guseniak, 250 Euclid. I was going to give you my maiden name. On March 29th, McLaren Hospital is going to have a lecture series on cancer patients and survivors. And they're trying to contact anyone who would like to give a speech there. My two doctors asked me if I would give one of my experiences the past 4 years, what I went through and all the details, because a lot of people don't know, and people go in there, they're frightened. So we're going to warn them ahead of time, it's not as bad as you think. So it's March 29th at McLaren Hospital in the auditorium at 6:30 in the evening. There is no fee, no donation jar, nothing, just bring your body and bring your friends and ask your questions.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Danielle Tirpikoff, 54 Dorothea. I'm glad that we have warm weather now, and it's warmer now, and looking forward to the sidewalks, not just in any particular area in Mount Clemens, but everywhere in Mount Clemens, being repaired, and hopefully traffic lights being put up where they should be.
Thank you. You're welcome. Anyone else?
My name is Jimmy Dixon, 94 Park, Mount Clemens. I'm here to talk about at 260 North Broadway about the ditch. If I can get a number to call for someone to come out, and they didn't come out to do it. So if I get a number, I can call, because mosquitoes gonna start, and we don't want all of our kids getting affected by the mosquitoes. So if we can get someone out there to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right. Administrative responses and issues or questions raised at previous meeting. Mr. Brown?
I had one item that I wanted to discuss in response to something that was raised at the last commission meeting. Commissioner Menser had inquired about a pump purchase. It was on the purchases and payments of invoices section of the agenda. And the questions were basically whether the city received a warranty on the pump and whether preventive maintenance was included. First of all, both the pump and the motor along with it have a 1-year warranty. The utilities department basically indicates that preventive maintenance is rarely purchased on these kind of pieces of equipment in the industry. This is due to a variety of factors, including the cost as well as a large number of pieces of equipment that are utilized in these kind of facilities, and the fact that there would be a lot of administrative issues involved for keeping track of this pump having a preventive maintenance agreement with this company and the next pump having it with a different company and varying schedules and things of that nature. So the city instead chooses to handle that kind of preventive maintenance in-house with their staff. They do this in coordination with some high-tech companies that come in and provide some higher technology-based support services to us with things like vibration analysis on the pumps, infrared analysis, as well as electrical services that are provided in conjunction with that in-house preventive maintenance work that's done at the utilities department. So the long story short is because of expense and administrative issues and other challenges, we do it in-house for the most part and supplement it with some outside contractor work on an as-needed basis. And that's all I have.
Any questions? Okay. Approval of the minutes from previous meetings. Need a motion?
I move to approve the minutes of the
March 7th.
March 7th, 2016 commission meeting.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Campbell?
Yes.
Dempsey?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Crop?
Yes.
Menser?
Yes.
Bunton?
Yes.
Actually, I probably should ask before we have roll call if there's any changes to the minutes. I've never done that before, but I think you're supposed to, just in case there is. So we'll start that next time around. General business, 9A, we need a motion to approve the purchase and payments of invoices.
Move to approve the purchases and payment of invoices as presented.
Second.
Our questions? Commissioner Menser.
I guess I'm just a little confused by this bill in here, or this payment to High Tech, because I believe on March 7th, we turned down a premium contract for High Tech in the amount of $6,776.25, and yet here we are buying 100 hours of time at $6,500.
Just to answer that directly, I'll start off, and if we would like to get a little bit more detail, we can ask Linda Kunith, who's dealt with this particular issue extensively. We have a general method of operation, if you will, with High Tech, where we have a basic contract, and in this year's budget, we had budgeted at just over $38,000 for direct services provided by High Tech. To date, we've spent just over $30,000, so we're about $8,000 under budget currently. But every year, at about this time of the year, we have a need for picking up what's called a purchase of a time block to basically get some additional things taken care of that are outside of the scope of the regular amount of hours that are provided through our base agreement with High Tech. If you go back and look in the past, we've had this kind of a time block purchase on our schedule or on our commission agenda in prior years as well. And that's what the $6,500 represents. And I think I tried to foreshadow that in the agenda item where we did discuss the potential upgrade for High Tech. I did mention that one way or the other, we purchase additional time blocks. Even if we went to the upgrade route, we would probably have to do that again this time. We did not approve that upgrade contract last time, so this is just normal business of picking up some additional hours to take care of some things. We had some additional installation of new PCs and other things like that are basically considered project work, and that's outside of the scope of the base agreement with High Tech. They come in and provide a certain amount of hours on a weekly basis, but if we use those hours to do this kind of project work, we wouldn't have the hours available for the basic support work that they do. So we use up the support hours, and then when we have project work, we have to pick up these time blocks to pick up some additional hours for them to come in and install PCs, come in and install printers and things of that nature. So that's a general answer. If you have some more questions, feel free. We can call Linda Kunith up here to discuss it further. It's just a normal piece of business. It's got nothing to do with the upgrade. Whether it would have happened or it wouldn't have happened, we would have been looking at doing this time block purchase.
The time block purchase, when I looked into it, was last June. So why so early?
It depends on the flow of things as to whether you call it early or not. I mean, it's partially because we were using hours that were in the base agreement basically to handle some additional project work that Linda was doing, installing new PCs. And as I said, if you'd like to hear more detail from her, you can go ahead and ask her. But the general idea is we were using up hours more quickly this year because we were doing more project-oriented work like installing PCs.
But I really don't, you have what, 4 PCs that were installed in 2016? The rest were all in 15?
I would defer to Linda on that.
Well, I'm looking at the spreadsheet.
Yeah, it's the
Go
entire
to
fiscal
the-
year from July through.
Linda.
Go to the mic.
Oh,
Sure,
please.
I'm sorry. It's for the entire fiscal year. We had 16 PCs and we had a server that crashed. And the last time we bought hours in July, it was used towards we had a 100-hour time block for $85 an hour, which was $8,500. And the last time we did that, a server crashed, so they had to replace the server and get that up and running, plus establish an additional backup with our other service or reroute, so it took a little longer time. And we also upgraded 16 PCs, and with those 16 upgraded, those were then backfilled to the older computers, and that took a little more time. So we use the time, we have 6 hours a week, and that's been typical. That's just the way the contract runs. So they use those 6-hour time blocks from now through the end to help us with that, and now we're out of time.
We're out of hours.
So I'm looking at this spreadsheet, and I'm assuming that this is your work. Thank you for putting that together, but I look at this, and quite literally, I am shocked by the age of the equipment, by the number of operating systems. There are multiple computers on here with Windows XP, and Microsoft hasn't supported that since like 2014.
There are Vista. We have computers. We have one department with 4 computers with 4 different operating systems. That is unbelievable. This has been a very, and I'm not blaming you, you're new, but this has been a very badly managed program for the city as far as I'm concerned.
Let me just add the point that we had no money. If you recall, a couple years ago, we were looking at an emergency manager. It was unfortunate. That's what went to the side, was all of our capital. And this is not the only capital equipment that we're dealing with now. All the departments have capital equipment that's older than probably you and I are sitting up here together. So I think they're in the process now trying to upgrade, but I think that was the reason. We just didn't have the money. So I don't think it was poor management. It was just lack of funds. I mean, that's
Or basically,
pretty
we had to do
factual.
what we had to do with what we had.
Yeah. We piecemealed a lot of things together. And that's why I just want to say, last time, when it came for those additional hours, I don't think this body up here realizes the importance to the city for them to have those additional hours. We had issues during the election, when the computers down here were not communicating with the county. They had to run upstairs, back and forth entering, which caused a delay in getting our stuff to the county. Now, had we had that additional time for high tech, those things aren't going to happen. And every day they are encountering things like this. And I'm not saying, you up here, our commissioners, they are not at City Hall every day. So they don't see what these employees have to deal with. We are not providing them, as you have just said, Commissioner Menser, with the proper tools. And we have an opportunity last time to provide them with some extra help, and we voted it down. And that is poor management on our part, as far as I'm concerned. But again, I'm not blaming anybody up here because you don't know. I'm here, I see it. So I think it's really important that we provide as much as we can to give the tools to our employees to do the job that they're here to do.
I also think it's very important that that be communicated to us, and that we can trust that the recommendations on what's presented has been thoroughly investigated, and we're getting the best deal for our money. And I don't know that that's been the practice so far, and that's why it's difficult to make choices.
Right. It is, but it's also the obligations of everyone up here to investigate further and ask questions. You can, when you get something, if you have questions on it, I've always suggested you get on the phone and call the proper people if you have any additional questions, instead of waiting to the night of the meeting. So,
Yes, Commissioner Button.
And I guess I'm not a person to micromanage, and I'm believing that the people whom we have in charge of these items have a commitment, and they're doing the job they're assigned to do. Yes, I do check, I do look, but I'm not going to try to micromanage their jobs. I micromanage my own job, and that's it.
So we can ask questions, but then when we do, it's micromanaging.
No, look,
I
wait,
think
now,
you
when you start talking about these kind of things in this position, if you have a question, call somebody. I mean,
I do.
this could be called, that could be called, Linda's available, I called her and had a question and she answered it, I'm good with it. That's my micromanage. I don't need to do it here, and I don't need to do it, on a regular basis. These people are professionals, and they have a professional job to do, and I believe they do it professionally. So I don't micromanage, I'm sorry.
I think that when we purchased computers the last time, it was brought up that we held up the purchase of the computers until we talked to the county for purchasing economies of scale. The county purchases in mass quantities, 50 computers at a time. And I believe that when we did that the last time, the county, purchasing through the county, actually saved the city money per PC. So if we were going to upgrade and add things, again, I suggest that we check with purchasing through the county to take advantages of the fact that they purchase in a large scale basis.
We're not talking
software,
about buying
hardware.
computers right now, though. We're talking about buying time from.
We're going to end up talking about that because if you look at the spreadsheet and you look at these operating systems, some of these aren't going to work for very much longer. And so as we go forward in purchasing new things, it's a good idea to keep it in mind that there are other avenues that may save us money.
And just real quick on the operating system question here, for example, Windows 10 currently they're offering as an upgrade at zero cost. When those are available, we're trying to take advantage of that, and we're taking advantage of that right now. We just did upgrades to the operating systems in the Community Development Department. The contract with High Tech, the upgrade was brought forward to you because we have an existing contract with High Tech that does not expire until 2017. So short of getting out of that contract and readdressing the entire relationship, the way that we could add the services that we needed to in order to address something that was brought up in an audit, and that being password control issues, was to do an upgrade with the high-tech contract, and that's why the high-tech contract upgrade was brought in. We have an existing contract with them. It was the estimation of the city administration, me in particular, that it's not appropriate to ditch that contract at this point in time to accomplish a small task. It was to add an upgrade to it so that we can get that accomplished and then move forward and rebid the contract in 2017 as we expect to. So, I mean, that's the reason why the option that was brought forward. So,
Commissioner Martin.
One more thing. City Manager Brown, have we not in the past offered or tried to do a joint purchase with the county and found it to be not profitable?
yeah, that varies. Sometimes there's advantages to it, and sometimes there's not. For example, when we bought a recent set of Surface tablets from Microsoft, we did go through a process of looking at that and seeing where we can get the best price, and we ended up finding a best price somewhere else. As the Commissioner mentions, there are opportunities for coordinating purchases with the county, and we're going to try to take advantage of that whenever we can. I'm guessing, and Linda can correct me if I'm wrong, with these computers that were installed were existing ordered computers that were already in place that we were actually finally putting into service. Is that correct?
Right. Some were purchased actually in May and June, and then there was a second tier purchased in July and August.
Right.
And then they were put into place with, depending on, we had the server crash that took a little bit of time, and then I accelerated it when
you came
on in November.
Right.
To get them all done.
So we are working at doing some of these upgrades. There are some odd situations as well where we just can't, based on the software that we're utilizing on a particular computer, sometimes it's not, we're actually using a dinosaur because we have to use a dinosaur because that's what's required of some of our dinosaur-esque software packages that we have. So we're trying to address a lot of these things. As the mayor mentioned, it's been a challenge financially in the past. Now that we're in a little better position financially, we're working at trying to do some needed upgrades and addressing this in a smart fashion, in a comprehensive fashion. And Linda's been making that a priority. We've been spending a lot of time on looking at these opportunities and making smart moves and trying to keep it at a low cost factor. And when it's necessary to spend some money to get something accomplished, we need to do that. And that's what we have in front of us with this time block purchase.
Any other questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Dempsey?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Crop?
Yes.
Menser?
Yes?
Bunton?
Yes.
Campbell?
Yes.
Okay, consent agenda, need a motion.
Move to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Hill?
Yes.
Crop?
Yes.
Menser?
Yes.
Bunton?
Yes.
Campbell?
Yes.
Dempsey?
Yes. City manager's report.
A couple of items for this week's report. Number one, there was an article in the paper that covered the fact that the city was going to do some early lead testing. We had a resident come up to the mic a few weeks back and ask about what the status of our lead testing results were. And I gave an update at a administrative response prior to this meeting where we talked about that. And our test results are excellent, have been excellent for many years. And the way that they determine how often you test your water for this lead content is based on your results. If you have good results, you have a longer time period between the intervals of testing. The longest period that you can have is 3 years. The city is on a 3-year cycle because we've had very strong results in that area. Because of the concern that was raised at the commission meeting, and also just from a general perspective of anticipating that it's on people's minds, Administration started to take a look at what it would cost to do that lead testing 1 year in advance because we're currently scheduled for a 2017 test. So we checked into it, found out that the cost factor was very affordable, let me put it that way. It's very inexpensive, and it was something that administration, with a talk with the utilities department, decided that it would make sense to go ahead and get that testing done to provide that kind of peace of mind a little bit earlier for people in case that was something that was on the mind of more than that person that came to the commission meeting. So we are going to proceed with doing testing on that. It gets done at a specific point in time. We could do it now, quite frankly, but it would be a little bit of false reassurance because this time of year you're less likely to have a real challenge in that area. So the appropriate time to do the testing is in the spring. That's when we do it on a normal basis. There are 30 homes that we've tested in the past when we've done our cycle of testing, and the plan is to go ahead and do another set of those 30 homes, the same homes if possible, to do that testing again in the spring of 2016 in just a few weeks. And then we'll have those results. We can let people know that the system has been recently tested, and we can reassure people that our water is safe and has the outstanding results that we expect it to have, just like it has in the past. So that's the reason for the decision. It's not because there's any concern that came to mind. It's not because of any information that came to the attention of anybody at the city that we should do that because of this. It's basically just a little bit of peace of mind to provide for residents and do it 1 year in advance. So that's why we're doing that. And we will keep you posted on the results when we do get the results. The second item is related to the Gratiot Avenue Corridor Project public meeting. As you know, possibly there's a look at a rapid transit type of transit system that's being looked at. There's been a study of it performed along Woodward Avenue. There's a study going on currently at Gratiot Avenue. And the meeting that's coming up is on Wednesday, March 30th from 4 to 7 p.m. It's right here in Mount Clemens at the Collaborative at 21 North Main Street. And there's going to be appetizers, beverages, as well as visual information about the plans and the current status of those plans. If this project does get off the ground, there would be a millage ask that would be happening in November of 2016. That is likely to be discussed during this public meeting as well. So anybody who's interested in public transit in Mount Clemens or the region is encouraged to come out and to attend it. Again, it's at the Collaborative at 21 North Main Street on Wednesday, March 30th from 4 to 7. And that's all I have for the report this week.
Questions, comments to the report? Commissioner Hill.
I'm assuming that this time frame, 4 to 7, means that you can drop in.
Correct.
Anytime?
It's an open house. Come in and see what you want to see when you want to see it.
Okay.
All right. Commissioner comments? I'll go last this time. Commissioner Button.
Okay. First, I'd just like to hope that everybody had a delightful St. Patrick's Day. I hope your Irish came out wherever it came from. And wish everybody a very happy Easter. Easter is about to come about, and hope everybody has a very enjoyable Easter. And I'd like to congratulate the Mount Clemens basketball team for making it to the playoffs. That's a feather for their cap. And I would like to encourage everybody to attend the meeting, the Gratiot Avenue Corridor Project public meeting. This is the time for you to find out the information that you want to know about, because there will be some changes in Mount Clemens in the downtown area, and if you wait till it's over and then come up and make your complaints, then, you know, it's a little bit too late. What you want to do is come to this, look at it, find out, and if you have some commitments that you feel need to be taken care of, you need to contact the mayor, the city manager, or one of our city commissioners and let them know what your concerns are. It'll be too late once it's all over and done. And I guess that's basically it. So I'll give you my commissioner wisdom for this evening. Oh, wait. I got one more thing. Mr. Dixon came and made a comment about the I guess drainage ditch alongside of 260 North Broadway. But unfortunately, that's on the Clinton Township side. So the city of Mount Clemens won't probably be able to do much about it unless we overstep our boundaries. But there's a dividing line that runs right through the middle of the North Broadway Church of Christ. And the part that you're talking about is unfortunately a part of the Clinton Township section. And therefore, Commissioner Wisdom, never mistake knowledge for wisdom. One helps you make a living, the other helps you make a life. This is by Sandra Carney. And with that, we'll say good night.
Commissioner Menser?
Well, here I'm going to go with some public service announcements. It's not too late to volunteer to deliver Meals on Wheels on Easter. You usually deliver 10 to 12 meals. You can do it right here in Macomb County, and you're going to call the Community Action Center at 469-5228, or get a hold of me, and I'll help set that up with you. I'm going to give a shout out to Jaden Huffner from Seminole Academy, 5th grade. She represented her school in the Macomb Daily Regional Spelling Bee on Sunday. And to Victoria Davidovitz from St. Mary's, 7th grade. She represented them. They did very well, and they should be proud for representing their schools. The Macomb County Community Action Agency is accepting applications for the housing rehab program. Everybody in Mount Clemens is eligible. I called today to double check that. If you need a zero interest loan, it's a no interest deferred payment loan to cover repairs, lead paint testing, and removal at your homes. All you have to do is occupy a single-family home for a year, reside in the county, in Mount Clemens, have homeowners insurance, and then be up to date on your mortgage payments and property payments. But you can contact them for low-interest loans. Things like, roofs, plumbing, they've done windows. They will not do your garage. It has to be the main dwelling, but that money is there and available. In 2011, the U.S. Senate passed a resolution called Welcome Home Vietnam Veterans. The Veterans Administration has set March 29th, which is next Tuesday, as the date to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War. From 1964 to 1975, 9,087,000 Americans served in the armed forces in 100 different countries. So please take time this month, and definitely next Tuesday, to honor and thank a veteran. And for those of you who noticed my shorter haircut, Studio 58, downtown Mount Clemens, has been on North Walnut for, I believe, 30 years. It's a long-term business in the community, and they would certainly appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Crowell.
I would just like to tell everyone happy spring. I'm looking forward to the warmer weather. I think it's a great opportunity to walk outside, take a look around your neighborhood, and see what you can do to help spruce everything up. If everyone does a little bit and picks up, we can make sure that our neighborhoods flourish and are a great place to live. We will be continuing the refuse pickup for yard waste. April 4th, I believe, is the first one. That's the first Monday, right? So yeah, that's the first pickup for refuse. And that's all I have today. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Hill.
Well, to piggyback on what Commissioner Kropp said, it is great to see spring arriving here in Mount Clemens. Even though the temperatures are cool right now, I've seen several robins. I have some crocus blooming. The daffodils and tulips are popping out of the ground, and the leaves are starting to come out on my rose bushes. So we will soon have lots of blossoms and hopefully warmer weather. Last Friday, I was pleased to be a judge for the oratorical contest at Mount Clemens High School, sponsored by the Optimist Club. The topic was how my best brings out the best in others. There were 13 speakers, 7 boys and 6 girls. They were both middle school and high school students. I was very impressed with the quality of their speeches and the behavior of the students in the audience. I congratulate both the student speakers and the Optimist Club on an excellent event. The City Commission will be working on the 2016-17 budget starting April 4th. It's always challenging but important work. And I lastly would want to say Happy Easter to everyone who celebrates the holiday. Happy spring break to students and teachers, and safe journeys to those who will be traveling. Have a good evening and a great week.
Thank you. Commissioner Campbell.
I just had one thing, and that was that refuge composting begins on April 4th, because people were asking. In fact, some people already have their bags out. So you still got 2 more weeks. That's it.
Okay. I would like to recognize a business in Mount Clemens. Top Notch Automotive is a family-owned and operated automotive repair shop, which is located at 310 southbound Gratiot, which is right at the end of Bellevue and Gratiot. The owner, Rob Kane, is a certified mechanic for over 25 years, and 15 of those years he worked at a Ford dealership. Rob has many years of experience and a great deal of knowledge in automotive repair. He also employs 2 full-time state-certified mechanics. Top Notch is a complete auto and truck repair service. They perform all repairs from brakes, suspension, batteries, engines, and transmissions. Their specialty is 4x4 truck repairs and modifications. So, and they also sell propane gas. So I just wanted to give a shout out. They're relatively new. I think they came in last June, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And they could definitely use the support, but I just wanted to make sure that we're all aware that we have businesses outside of downtown that are also in need of people to support them. So,
and they've done a beautiful job with their building.
Yes, they've done a nice job, and it's a family-owned business, so please help them if you can. I appreciate that. And with that, I would like a motion to go into exec session for, hold on, as soon as I find my papers. Yeah, thank you. To discuss negotiation regarding collective bargaining agreements and just discuss attorney and client privilege correspondence. So I need a motion.
Moved.
Support?
Roll call, please.
Crop,
Yes.
Menser,
Yes.
Bunton,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Dempsey,
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Okay. 5-minute recess. Okay, I think now we're back. Okay. Good evening, folks. We need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.